My parents didn't miss my Yale graduation. They chose my sister's dance recital. The text arrived at 7:14 a.m. iPhone screen glowing in my dark dorm. Can't make it today. Lily's performing. You understand. 37 characters to dismiss 4 years. No call. No apology. Just absence. By 2 p.m., I placed their programs on 2 empty chairs, Woolsey Hall, row C, seats 7 and 8. Sunlight streaming through stained glass onto vacant velvet. Around me, 1,127 families embraced graduates. Behind me, shadows where mine should have been. A classmate's father filmed those empty chairs. A 2.3 million views by midnight. Dad's law firm saw it. Mom's entire book club. Then, 3 years of silence. Until yesterday, when they called needing something. The acceptance email arrived at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday in April. Yale University. Full scholarship. $68,000 per year. I read the first line 17 times before my hands stopped shaking. Congratulations, Sienna Hayes. You have been accepted. I'd applied to Yale the way you'd throw a message in a bottle, hopeful but not expecting rescue. My guidance counselor had called it a reach school. My parents had called it unnecessarily expensive. But there it was. Bold letters, official seal, real. I called my mother first. She answered on the 5th ring. Sienna, it's early. Mom, I got in. Yale. Full scholarship. A pause. Not the good kind. The kind where you can hear someone deciding how much enthusiasm to fake. Oh, that's nice, honey. Nice, the word you use for a B+ on a math test, for a decent parking spot, not for an Ivy League acceptance. I thought you'd be excited, I said, already feeling the hope deflate. I am excited. It's just, hold on, Lily, put that down. Her voice moved away from the phone. Muffled conversation. Then back. Sorry, what were you saying? Yale, Mom. I got into Yale. Right. Yes. Good job. Listen, can we talk about this later? Lily's dance instructor just called. She got the solo in the spring recital. We're freaking out here. I could hear my father's voice in the background. Loud. Celebratory. The kind of joy I'd been hoping to hear directed at me. Sure, I said. Later. She hung up before I could say goodbye. I sat on my dorm bed, acceptance letter still glowing on my laptop screen, and remembered something from years earlier. I was 10. My parents had taken me and Lily to the beach for the weekend. We'd built sand castles, and my father had crouched down beside mine, the biggest one with shells pressed into the walls. You're going to do big things someday, Sienna, he'd said. And when you do, we'll be there. Every important moment, we promise. I'd believed him. 10-year-old me had carved that promise into memory, like names in wet concrete. But that Tuesday morning, staring at my Yale acceptance, I felt the first hairline crack in that concrete. Small, easy to ignore. I should have paid attention. My name is Sienna Hayes. I'm 22 years old, and I'm about to tell you how 4 years of invisible effort ended with 2 empty chairs and a viral video that destroyed my family. But first, you need to understand the pattern. My parents are Marcus and Diane Hayes. Successful, respected. My father's a corporate attorney. My mother runs a nonprofit. They drive a Lexus and live in a house with a 3-car garage. From the outside, we looked like the family that had it all figured out. Inside, there were 2 daughters. Lily, the golden child. And me, the afterthought. The favoritism didn't start suddenly. It accumulated. Small moments that seemed forgivable on their own, but formed a mountain when stacked together. Age 12. I won first place at the regional science fair. My project on water filtration had beaten 60 other entries. The ceremony was on a Saturday at 3 p.m. My parents arrived at 4:15 after awards had been distributed. They'd been at Lily's dance practice. We lost track of time, my mother said. They took one photo of me holding my blue ribbon, then spent the car ride home talking about Lily's upcoming recital. Age 15. I made it to the state debate championship. Months of preparation. Early mornings practicing speeches. I placed third in the state. Top 3 out of 200 competitors. My parents came to the final round but left halfway through to drive Lily to an emergency costume fitting. I stood on that stage, accepted my trophy, and scanned the audience for their faces. Gone. Age 18. Valedictorian. I gave the graduation speech at our high school ceremony. 400 people in attendance. I'd written 12 drafts. Practiced in front of the mirror until I had every pause memorized. My parents sat in the third row. I could see them from the podium. They spent my entire speech whispering to each other, heads bent over my mother's phone, coordinating Lily's dance audition scheduled for the next day. The pattern was clear. I achieved. They attended barely. Then they left, physically or mentally, to focus on Lily. But I kept achieving anyway. 4 gigapascals through high school, National Honor Society, 3 AP courses, perfect SAT score on my second try. I thought if I just did enough, accomplished enough, they'd finally see me. Yale accepted me with a full academic scholarship. It covered tuition, but not living expenses. Not books. Not the laptop I needed for classes. I worked 3 jobs my freshman year: library assistant, coffee shop barista, weekend tutoring. I sent money home twice to help with bills. My parents never asked if I needed anything. Meanwhile, Lily attended the premier dance academy in our city. $4,500 per month. Private coaching sessions, custom costumes that cost more than my monthly food budget. I'm not saying she didn't work hard. She did. But her hard work came with a safety net I was never offered. By senior year at Yale, I'd taken on $89,000 in student loans to cover what the scholarship didn't. I'd spent 4 years eating dollar meals and wearing thrifted clothes. I'd watched my classmates go home for fall break and spring break while I stayed on campus, working, because I couldn't afford the flight. But I was graduating, from Yale. And I needed them there. I sent the invitation 2 months in advance. Cream cardstock, embossed seal. I included the date, the time, the venue name, Woolsey Hall, row C, seats 7 and 8, reserved. I sent a reminder 3 weeks out, then 1 week out, then 3 days before. My mother responded each time with a thumbs up emoji. That should have been the second crack in the concrete. But I plastered over it with hope. Graduation morning felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, half excited, half terrified. I woke up at 6 a.m. in my dorm room, sunlight cutting through the blinds in sharp lines. My navy blue dress hung on the back of the door, thrifted for $40, but it fit like it had been made for me. I'd done my makeup in the shared bathroom, hands shaking with nerves and something I didn't want to name yet. Hope, maybe, or desperation. My phone buzzed at 7:14 a.m. A text from my mother. Can't make it today. Lily's performing. You understand. I read it 3 times. 4, 5. Can't make it today. Not, we're running late. Not, we'll be there soon. Just can't make it. My chest tightened. I called her. It went to voicemail. I called my father. Same. I stood in the middle of my dorm room in that $40 dress and felt something inside me collapse. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet, sickening fold, like a building giving way floor by floor. But I still went. What else was I supposed to do? Woolsey Hall is beautiful in the kind of way that makes you feel small. Vaulted ceilings, stained glass windows that throw colored light across rows of wooden seats. By the time I arrived at 1 p.m., families were already flooding in. Mothers adjusting their sons' ties, fathers taking photos, siblings holding flowers. I walked to row C, seats 7 and 8. I'd reserved them weeks ago. I placed a program on each seat carefully, like if I just arranged them right, my parents would materialize to claim them. They didn't. The ceremony started at 2 p.m. The hall filled with 1,127 people. I sat in the graduate section and turned around twice to check. Both times, seats 7 and 8 were still empty. Sunlight poured through the stained glass and landed directly on those 2 vacant chairs, illuminating the programs I'd placed there like evidence. Around me, families were everywhere. A mother sobbed into her hands when her daughter's name was called. A father stood up and cheered so loud the dean paused. Someone's little brother held a sign that said, "That's my sister," in glittery letters. I watched all of it and felt like I was drowning in a room full of air. When they called my name Sienna Marie Hayes, I stood. I walked across that stage. I shook hands with the dean. I accepted my diploma. And I heard nothing. No cheers. No applause from a family section. Just the polite clapping of strangers. I looked at row C one more time as I walked back to my seat. Empty. After the ceremony, people scattered into the aisles, hugging and crying and taking pictures. I stood near the edge of the hall, holding my diploma, unsure what to do with my hands. A man approached me. Older, kind face. He had a camera around his neck. "Excuse me," he said. "Are you all right?" I nodded, but my throat was tight. "I'm Jim. My daughter just graduated too." He hesitated. "I noticed your seats were empty. Row C?" I nodded again. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. And then, before I could respond, he lifted his camera. "Do you mind if I take a photo? Of the seats?" I didn't understand why, but I said yes. He walked over to row C and took 3 photos. The empty chairs, the programs, the sunlight. I didn't know it yet, but Jim's daughter would post one of those photos that night. It would spread faster than I could track. Strangers would comment, then acquaintances, then people who knew my parents. But in that moment, standing in Woolsey Hall, I just felt hollow. I walked out to the parking lot at 4 p.m., diploma in hand, and sat in my car. That's when I heard it. A voice. Loud. Familiar. I turned. 2 rows over, a woman stood beside a silver SUV, phone pressed to her ear. She was laughing. It was my mother's best friend, Carol. I recognized her immediately. "Oh, it was beautiful," Carol said into the phone. "Diane and Marcus were so proud. You should have seen them. They recorded the whole thing." My stomach dropped. I sat frozen as Carol continued. "Lily was stunning. That solo? Flawless. They're taking her out for dinner now to celebrate. Ruth's Steakhouse, I think. The expensive one." She laughed again, got into her car, drove away. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, trying to process what I'd just heard. They'd gone, they'd watched, they'd celebrated. Just not me. 2 days after graduation, I was still sitting in my apartment, staring at my diploma like it was evidence of a crime I couldn't quite name yet. I hadn't heard from my parents. Not a call, not a text, not even a belated congratulations. I told myself it was fine. I told myself I didn't need their validation. Then I opened Facebook. It was 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was scrolling mindlessly, the way you do when you're trying to distract yourself from thinking. And there it was, a post from my mother's account, uploaded that afternoon. The first photo showed Lily mid-leap on stage, spotlights catching the sequins on her costume. Beautiful, professional, the kind of shot that belonged in a dance magazine. But it was the caption that made my stomach turn. "So proud of our girls. Both achieving their dreams this weekend." Both. I scrolled through the album. 53 photos. Every single one from Lily's recital. My mother and father in the audience, beaming. Lily with a bouquet of roses so large she could barely hold it. My father's arm around Lily's shoulders. My mother kissing her cheek. A close-up of the flowers. I could see the price tag still attached. $200. I scrolled faster, looking for something. Anything. A photo of me. A mention of Yale. Even just my name in the comments. Nothing. The comments section was full of congratulations. Aunts, cousins, neighbors, co-workers. "Lily is so talented. Beautiful performance. You must be so proud." Then I saw it. A comment from my Aunt Jennifer. My mother's younger sister. Both daughters? "Where's Sienna? Didn't she graduate from Yale this weekend?" My mother had replied an hour later. "Yes, Sienna graduated too. "We're so proud of both of them." I read that response 5 times. We're so proud of both of them. But they hadn't been there. They hadn't called. And now they were posting on Facebook, pretending like they'd supported me equally. I clicked on the location tag for the photos. Liberty Arts Theater. I opened Google Maps. 42 minutes from Yale. They'd been less than an hour away, and they'd chosen not to come. My hands were shaking. I set my phone down, picked it up again, opened my text thread with my mother. The last message was still her 7:14 a.m. text. "Can't make it today. Lily's performing. You understand." I scrolled up. Weeks of messages, reminders about graduation, details about the ceremony. Her responses were all the same. Thumbs up emojis. "Okay. Sounds good. Never, I'll be there. Never. We wouldn't miss it." I looked back at Facebook. At the album title. Lily's Big Day. May 19th. May 19th. My graduation day. And then something else caught my eye. In one of the background photos, I could see a table. Programs stacked neatly. A sign-in sheet. But more importantly, I could see a credit card receipt, sitting on the edge of the table, half visible. I zoomed in. The image was blurry, but I could just make out a name at the top. Marcus Hayes. My father. The receipt was from the theater's concessions. Timestamp. 1:47 p.m. I opened my email. Found my graduation details. The ceremony had started at 2 p.m. They'd been at the theater, buying snacks for Lily's recital, 13 minutes before I walked across the stage at Yale. I sat back. Stared at the ceiling. Felt something sharp settle into my chest. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't losing track of time. This was a choice. And if they could lie on Facebook, what else were they lying about? I picked up my phone again, opened my banking app. I didn't know what I was looking for yet, but I needed to know. The envelope arrived on Thursday. Plain white. Capital One logo in the corner. I almost threw it away. I'd been on my parents' family credit card account since high school, mostly for emergencies, but I hadn't used it in over a year. But something made me open it. The statement was 12 pages long. I flipped to the summary page first. Account holder, Marcus Hayes. Authorized users, Diane Hayes, Sienna Hayes, Lily Hayes. Total charges for May, $8,247. I blinked. Read it again. $8,247. In 1 month, my hands started shaking before I even looked at the details. I flipped to the transaction list, scanned down, and froze. May 18th. The Marriott downtown. $1,890. May 19th. Bella Flora Designs. $380. May 19th. Ruth's Steakhouse. $645. May 19th. Prestige Event Videography. $2,400. May 19th. Étoile Costume Boutique. $2,932. I read the dates again. May 18th, May 19th, graduation weekend. My stomach dropped. I grabbed my laptop, pulled up Google, searched for each vendor. The Marriott downtown, a luxury hotel 3 miles from the dance theater. I clicked through to their room listings. The cheapest suite was $450 per night. They'd stayed for 4 nights. Bella Flora Designs a boutique that specialized in custom floral arrangements. I found their Instagram. Recent post, a photo of an enormous rose bouquet with the caption, "Rush order for a special performance, congratulations, Lily." Ruth's Steakhouse, the restaurant Carol had mentioned in the parking lot. I checked their menu. Entree started at $60. For a party of 4, $645 made sense. Prestige Event Videography, professional filming services. I found their website. Base package, $1,800. They'd paid for premium. Étoile Costume Boutique, custom dancewear. I searched their catalog. The most expensive costume, hand-beaded and custom fit, was listed at $3,000. $200. I sat back, stared at the numbers. They'd spent $8,247 on Lily's recital weekend, hotel, flowers, dinner, a videographer, a custom costume. I scrolled further down the statement, kept reading. May 20th. Starbucks. $6. May 20th. Shell gas station. $48. May 22nd. Target. $103. And then, at the very bottom of the page, I saw it. May 15th. Sienna Hayes Graduation Gift Fund. $0. Not even a line item, just a note I'd added to the account months ago, a reminder I'd set up hoping they'd contribute something. Anything. $0. I pulled up my email, found the graduation reminder I'd sent in April. Hey, Mom and Dad, graduation is May 19th at 2 p.m. I've included the details below. I know it's the same weekend as Lily's recital, but Yale only graduates once. I'd really love for you to be there. Let me know if you need help booking a hotel. Love, Sienna. My mother had responded, "We'll figure it out." They'd figured it out. All right. They'd booked the Marriott. Just not for me. I flipped back through the previous month's statements. March, April, February, January. The pattern was there. Consistent, unavoidable. Dance Academy tuition. $4,500 every single month. Private coaching. $800 month. Costumes, shoes, competition fees. An additional $1,200. $2,000 month. I did the math. Over the past 12 months alone, they'd spent $73,000 on Lily's dance. I opened my student loan portal, stared at the number in bold at the top. $89,000. $89,000 in debt. Money I'd borrowed because my parents said they couldn't help, because they'd told me, repeatedly, that they were stretched thin. But they weren't stretched thin, they just weren't stretching for me. My chest felt tight. My hands were still shaking. I grabbed my phone. Called the credit card company. Capital One, this is Derek. How can I help you? Hi. I need to confirm some charges on my account. Sure thing. Can I have your account number? I read it off the statement. Great. What charges are you inquiring about? All of them. From May 18th through May 20th. I heard typing. A pause. Okay, I'm showing a hotel charge, a floral charge, a restaurant. Were those charges made by me? Let me check. No, ma'am, those were made by the primary account holder, Marcus Hayes. And were they made in Connecticut? More typing. Yes, ma'am. All transactions were processed in the Hartford area. Hartford, 42 minutes from Yale. Thank you, I said. Hung up. I sat there, staring at the statement, and felt something I hadn't let myself feel yet. Rage. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept seeing the numbers. $8,247, $73,000, $89,000. But it wasn't just about the money. It was about what the money represented. Every dollar they'd spent on Lily was a choice. And every dollar they didn't spend on me was a choice too. By 3 a.m., I was sitting at my kitchen table with my laptop, a notebook, and 4 years of memories I was finally ready to see clearly. I started writing. Dates, events, details I'd buried because it hurt too much to look at them directly. Freshman year, move-in day. August 27th. My parents had driven me to Yale. We'd arrived at 9 a.m. They'd helped me carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs to my dorm. By 10:30 a.m., they were back in the car. We have to get back, my mother had said. Lily has practice at 2. I'd stood in the parking lot and watched them drive away. Other families were still unloading, taking photos, going to lunch together. I'd unpacked alone. I hadn't thought much of it then. But now, I pulled up my bank records from that month, September 3rd. Payment to Elite Dance Academy. $4,000. $500. They'd left my move-in early to get Lily to a practice they'd already paid $4,500 for. Sophomore year, Dean's List. November 14th. I'd made Dean's List for the third consecutive semester. Top 5% of my class. I'd called my parents, excited. My mother's response. "That's great, honey. Hey, can I call you back? Lily's costume just arrived, and we need to make sure it fits." She hadn't called back. I checked Facebook. That same day, my mother had posted 7 photos of Lily trying on her new costume. Caption: "Our star is ready to shine." Junior year, research publication. March 22nd. My research paper had been accepted into the Yale Undergraduate Research Journal. It was a big deal. I'd worked on it for 8 months. I'd sent my parents the link to the published article. My father's response 2 days later: "Congrats." One word. That same week, I found a charge on the credit card statement. March 20th. Regional dance competition entry fee. $1,250. They'd paid over $1,000 for Lily to compete. I'd gotten a one-word text. Senior year, thesis defense. April 5th. I'd defended my senior thesis in front of a panel of professors. It had gone well. I'd emailed my parents, told them I'd passed with honors, told them I was proud. No response. 3 days later, my mother posted on Facebook, "Can't believe our baby is growing up so fast. Lily's final recital of the season is next week. Time flies." I stared at that post for a long time. She'd called Lily our baby, not our youngest, not Lily. Our baby. Like I didn't exist. I kept writing, kept finding the pattern. 4 years at Yale. Not one parent visit to campus. Not for Parents' Weekend. Not for any holiday. Not once. I pulled up Lily's Dance Academy's Facebook page. Scrolled through their photo albums. My parents were in hundreds of photos. Sitting in the audience, backstage with Lily, at awards ceremonies, at fundraisers. I counted. Over 4 years, they'd attended 178 of Lily's performances and events. They'd attended 0 of mine. And it wasn't just the big moments. It was everything. They'd never asked how my classes were going. Never asked if I needed help with rent. Never asked if I was okay. But they knew Lily's rehearsal schedule by heart. They knew every choreographer's name. They knew which costumes needed altering and which competitions were worth entering. I opened my text message history with my mother, scrolled back through 4 years of conversations. 2,300 text messages total. I started categorizing them. Messages about Lily. 2,047, 89%. Messages about me. 2,511%. And of those 253 messages about me, most were logistical. When's your flight? Did you get the package? Can you pick up your sister from practice? I closed my laptop. Sat in the dark. For 4 years, I'd told myself it wasn't that bad, that they were just busy, that Lily needed more attention because she was younger. But the numbers didn't lie. For 1,460 days, they'd chosen her over me. Every time. Without fail. And on May 19th, the day I graduated from Yale, they'd made that choice one final time. I looked at the credit card statement still sitting on the table. $8,247. That's what I was worth to them. Nothing. I didn't sleep. By the time the sun came up, I'd filled 12 pages in my notebook with dates, dollar amounts, and memories that finally made sense. At 8 a.m., I texted Dr. Patricia Chen, my faculty advisor. She'd been my mentor for 3 years, the professor who'd guided my thesis, who'd written my recommendation letters. If anyone would understand, it was her. "Are you free for coffee today? I need advice." She responded in minutes. "Blue State Coffee. 10 a.m. I'll be there." I arrived early, ordered a black coffee I didn't drink, and sat by the window, My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Dr. Chen walked in at 9:58, her gray hair pulled back, her expression already concerned. She sat down across from me and didn't waste time. "What's wrong, Sienna?" I opened my mouth, closed it, tried again. "My parents didn't come to graduation." Her face changed. "I know, I noticed." I nodded, felt my throat tighten. "Where were they?" she asked gently. "At my sister's dance recital, 42 minutes away." Dr. Chen leaned back, her jaw tightened. 42 minutes. They chose her. My voice cracked. They've always chosen her. And then I told her everything. The credit card statement, the $8,247 spent on Lily's recital weekend, the $73,000 over the past year, the 4 years of missed events, the 178 performances they'd attended for Lily versus 0 for me. I pulled out my notebook, showed her the timeline, the numbers. Dr. Chen read in silence. When she looked up, her expression was hard. "Sienna, this isn't just favoritism. This is financial and emotional abuse." I blinked. "Abuse?" "Yes." She tapped the notebook. "Systematic neglect. Financial exploitation. They had the resources to help you but deliberately withheld support. Emotional abandonment during critical developmental years." I thought maybe I was being dramatic. "You're not." Her voice was firm. "You worked 3 jobs to get through Yale while they spent thousands on your sister's hobby. They skipped your graduation. They lied about it on social media. This is textbook parental abuse." The words hit me like cold water. Abuse. I'd never let myself call it that. "What do I do?" I asked. Dr. Chen pulled out her phone, scrolled, wrote something on a napkin and slid it across the table. "Yale Legal Aid Clinic. Ask for Rebecca Martinez. She handles family law cases. Tell her I sent you." I stared at the name. "You need documentation," Dr. Chen continued. "Everything you've shown me, get copies. Bank statements, credit card records, text messages, emails, photos. Build a timeline. Make it undeniable. And then you decide what justice looks like for you. A lawsuit, public accountability, cutting them off completely. But whatever you choose, you'll have the evidence to back it up." I folded the napkin carefully. Looked at her. "Why are you helping me?" Dr. Chen's expression softened. "Because I saw you walk across that stage alone, Sienna. And no one should have to do that. You deserved to be celebrated. You still do. For the first time in days." I felt something other than anger. I felt believed. "Thank you," I whispered. "Don't thank me yet. This is going to get hard. Your family will fight back. They'll make excuses. They'll tell you you're ungrateful." "I know. But you're not ungrateful. You're finally seeing the truth." I nodded. Dr. Chen reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "You've survived 4 years at Yale on your own, Sienna. You can survive this too." I left the cafe with Rebecca Martinez's name in my pocket and a decision in my chest. I was done being invisible. Rebecca Martinez's office was tucked into a corner of Yale Law School, small but organized, bookshelves lined with legal texts, a desk covered in case files. She stood when I walked in, extended a hand, and gestured to the chair across from her. "Dr. Chen called ahead," Rebecca said. "Told me you might need help. What's going on?" I sat, pulled out my notebook, the credit card statements, my phone with screenshots of text messages and Facebook posts. My parents financially and emotionally abandoned me for 4 years while funding my sister's dance career. They skipped my Yale graduation to attend her recital, and I want to know if there's anything I can legally do about it. Rebecca raised an eyebrow. "Let me see what you have." I handed her everything. She read in silence for 10 minutes, flipping through pages, zooming in on photos, taking notes. Finally, she looked up. "This is financial exploitation and emotional neglect," she said. "Legally, we'd classify it under family law as a breach of parental duty combined with financial discrimination between children." "Is that real? Can Can I actually do something about this? Yes. Here are your options. Rebecca pulled out a notepad and started writing. Option 1. Civil lawsuit. You sue your parents for financial neglect and discrimination. You'd need to prove they had the means to support you but deliberately chose not to, while simultaneously funding your sister's non-essential activities. Your evidence is strong: credit card statements, bank records, documented attendance disparity. What would I get out of that? If you win, the court could order them to reimburse your student loans or a portion of them. It's precedent-based. There have been cases where adult children successfully sued parents for education expenses when favoritism was proven. I felt my chest tighten. How long would that take? Building the case, 3 to 4 months. Filing to resolution, another 6 to 8 months. So we're looking at about a year total. A year? I could do a year. Option 2, Rebecca continued. Public accountability without legal action. You compile everything into a presentation or document and share it with your extended family. No lawsuit, but you expose the truth. It's legal. Everything you'd share is factual and involves you directly. Would that do anything? Socially? Yes. Your family would know. Their friends would know. Your parents would lose credibility. It won't get you money back, but it might get you validation. I thought about my grandmother, my aunts and uncles, the people who'd asked where I was at graduation. Option 3, Rebecca said. You walk away, cut contact, block them, rebuild your life without them. No legal battle, no confrontation, just done. That feels like letting them win. It's not about winning, Sienna. It's about what gives you peace. I looked at the evidence spread across her desk, the numbers, the dates, the pattern. What would you do? I asked. Rebecca leaned back, studied me. Honestly, I'd build the case. Not because I think you'll get rich off a lawsuit, you probably won't, but because documentation is power. Once you have everything organized, you can choose how to use it. Lawsuit, public exposure, or just keeping it as proof that you're not crazy. Options are freedom. I nodded slowly. If I wanted to build the case, where do I start? Rebecca smiled. You've already started. Now we make it airtight. She pulled out a legal pad and started listing. Bank statements going back 4 years, credit card statements, all of them, text message archives, email archives, Facebook posts. Download everything before they can delete it. Witnesses, friends, professors, anyone who saw the neglect firsthand. Photos of empty chairs at graduation if you have them. Your student loan documents. Your work history showing 3 jobs. I have most of that already. Good. Compile it into a binder. Chronological order. We'll also want witness statements written, signed, dated. Dr. Chen already agreed to write one. She did? She called me before you got here. She's furious on your behalf. I felt something warm in my chest. Gratitude, maybe. Or relief. This is going to cost you something, Rebecca said. Not money, we're pro bono, but emotionally, this will hurt. Your family will fight back. They'll call you ungrateful, dramatic, vindictive. Are you ready for that? I thought about the empty chairs. The $8,247. The 1,460 days of being second. Yes, I said. I'm ready. Rebecca extended her hand. Then let's build your case. Over the next 6 weeks, I became a detective in my own life. Rebecca had given me a checklist, 17 items. I attacked it like a research project, methodical and thorough. Week 1. Financial records. I started with the credit card statements. I'd been an authorized user since age 16, so I had legal access to request copies. I called Capital One, explained I needed statements for the past 4 years for personal records, and they sent them digitally within 48 hours. 48 statements, nearly 600 pages. I went through every single one, highlighted every charge related to Lily. Dance Academy tuition, costumes, competition fees, travel expenses for out-of-state performances, private coaching, physical therapy for a sprained ankle, even the gas charges driving to and from the studio 3 times a week. I created a spreadsheet. Date, vendor, amount, category. The total came to $127,000 over 4 years. Then I pulled my own student loan documents, clicked through the payment history. $89,000 borrowed. $4,200 in interest already accrued. The contrast was brutal, undeniable. Week 2. Communication records. Text messages were next. I backed up my entire phone, then used a data extraction tool to download every message exchanged with my parents over 4 years. 2,300 text messages total. I read every single one. Categorized them into 3 groups: messages about Lily, messages about me, messages neutral, logistical, messages about Lily. 2,047. Messages about me, 253. I created a document with side-by-side examples. April 2nd, my mother texting me detailed questions about Lily's costume alterations. April 3rd, my mother responding to my Dean's List announcement with, "Cool." It was devastating to see in writing. Email was similar. I searched my inbox for every email exchange. Found 340 total emails over 4 years. Most were logistical. When's your flight? Did you get the package? Only 12 were substantive conversations, and 10 of those were about Lily. I compiled the most damning examples into a secondary document. Evidence Exhibit B. Communication disparity. Week 3. Social media archive. Facebook was trickier. My mother's account was public, but I didn't trust her not to delete things once she realized what I was doing. I used a browser extension to download her entire timeline. Every post, every photo, every comment from the past 4 years. Then I started counting. Total posts: 1,847. Posts mentioning or featuring Lily: 1,612, 87%. Posts mentioning or featuring me: 140.7%. I created a photo collage, split screen. On one side, 50 photos of my parents at Lily's dance events, beaming and proud. On the other side, the 14 photos I appeared in, mostly group family photos where I was barely visible in the background. The visual was damning. Week 4. Witness statements. Rebecca had been clear. Testimonies mattered. I reached out to 7 people. Dr. Patricia Chen, my faculty advisor. She wrote 3 pages about my academic achievements, her observations of my parents' absence, and her shock that they'd missed graduation. Marcus, my best friend from sophomore year. He wrote about the time he'd offered to let me stay with his family over winter break because he knew I couldn't afford to fly home. He wrote about watching me work 3 jobs, about the night I'd cried in the library because I couldn't afford textbooks. My roommate, Jenna, she confirmed my parents had never visited our dorm, not once in 4 years. 2 professors who'd taught my major courses. Both confirmed I'd never had family attend campus events, which was unusual for high-achieving students. A neighbor from my hometown, Mrs. Calloway. She'd known our family for 15 years. She wrote about watching my parents attend every single one of Lily's performances but couldn't recall them ever mentioning my achievements. My childhood best friend, Ava. She wrote about being at my high school graduation, watching my parents leave my speech early to take a phone call about Lily's audition. Each statement was signed, dated, and notarized. Week 5. The graduation evidence. This part hurt the most. I contacted Jim, the father who'd taken photos of the empty chairs at my graduation. He still had them. He sent me 12 high-resolution images. 2 empty seats, programs sitting untouched. Sunlight streaming through stained glass. The contrast of other families embracing while my row sat vacant. I also got a copy of the ceremony program. Found my name listed: Sienna Hayes, Bachelor of Science, Molecular Biology, magna cum laude. I paired it with a screenshot of my mother's Facebook post from that same day. So proud of our girls, both achieving their dreams this weekend. The lie, in writing, next to the photographic evidence of their absence. Week 6. The timeline document. Rebecca had asked for a master timeline, a single document that showed the full scope of the neglect. I spent 3 days creating it. It was 22 pages long, chronological, starting from my Yale acceptance and ending with graduation day. Each entry had a date, a description of the event, evidence of my parents' absence or minimal involvement, and a corresponding expense they'd made for Lily during that same time period. Example: September 12th, sophomore year. Event: Sienna makes Dean's List, top 5% of class. Parent response: text message: "That's great, honey." Same week expense: $1,850, regional dance competition entry plus travel. The pattern repeated, over and over, for 4 years. By the end of week 6, I had a 3-inch binder. Financial records, communication logs, social media archives, witness statements, photos, a master timeline, 347 pages of evidence. Rebecca reviewed it in her office, flipped through silently. When she finished, she looked at me. "This is one of the most thoroughly documented cases of parental favoritism I've ever seen." "Is it enough?" "Sienna, this is airtight. If you wanted to pursue a lawsuit, you'd win. If you wanted to present this to your family, no one could deny it." I stared at the binder. "What now?" "Now," Rebecca said, "you decide how you want to use it." I thought about my grandmother's 75th birthday party. 6 weeks away, the whole family would be there. "I want them to know," I said. "All of them. I want everyone to see what they did." Rebecca nodded. "Then let's plan your moment." The invitation arrived in my email on a Thursday afternoon. Subject line: Grandma Ruth's 75th birthday celebration. You're invited. I opened it. Read the details. Date: August 12th, 6 weeks away. Location: Oakmont Country Club Grand Ballroom. Guest list: 180 plus extended family and friends. RSVP required. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I called Rebecca. "I know when I'm doing it," I said. "Doing what?" "Exposing them. Publicly. My grandmother's birthday party. The whole family will be there." Rebecca was quiet for a moment. "Are you sure? That's a big moment to hijack." "They hijacked my graduation. I'm taking one birthday toast." "All right," she said. "Then we need to prepare." Over the next 6 weeks, Rebecca and I turned my evidence binder into a presentation. We printed photo boards, side-by-side images, my empty graduation chairs next to photos of my parents at Lily's recital, my student loan balance next to their credit card charges for Lily's costumes. We created a 1-page financial summary. Clean, simple, devastating. 4 years of financial support. Lily, $127,000. Sienna, $600. We printed copies, 40 of them, one for every table at the party. Rebecca walked me through what to expect. "They'll deny it first," she said. "Your mother will probably cry. Your father will get angry. They'll say you're being dramatic, that you're embarrassing the family. I know. Some people will believe them. Some won't want to get involved. I know. But some people will see the truth, and that's who matters." I practiced my speech 40 times. In front of the mirror, in front of Rebecca, in front of Dr. Chen, who'd insisted on attending the party as my backup. I memorized every word, every pause, every piece of evidence I'd present. By the time August 12th arrived, I was ready. I called my best friend Marcus the night before. "I need you there tomorrow," I said. "I need someone to film it." "Film what?" "Me burning my family to the ground." He didn't ask questions. "I'll be there." I also called my grandmother, not to tell her what I was planning. I didn't want her to try to stop me, but to tell her I loved her. "I'm so glad you're coming, sweetheart," she said. I haven't seen you since graduation. Your parents said you were wonderful, my parents said. I'll see you tomorrow, Grandma, I said. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, running through the speech one more time. I thought about walking across that stage alone, about the empty chairs, about the $8,247, about the 4 years of invisibility, and I thought about the moment. Tomorrow, when everyone would finally see what I'd been living. I wasn't nervous anymore. I was ready. I woke up at 6 a.m. on August 12th. The party didn't start until 2 p.m., but I couldn't stay in bed. I showered, made coffee, stared at the evidence boards leaning against my living room wall. My phone buzzed, a text from my mother. Can't wait to see you today. It's been too long. I read it twice. Felt nothing. She had no idea what was coming. Another text. This time from Lily. Mom says you're coming to Grandma's party. See you there. I didn't respond to either of them. At 10 a.m., Marcus arrived at my apartment with his camera equipment. You're really doing this? He asked. I'm really doing this. Good. He set up his camera bag. They deserve it. Dr. Chen called at 11 a.m. I'm on my way, she said. Front row. I'll be right there. Thank you. Sienna, she said. What you're about to do takes courage. Remember that. I hung up, looked at myself in the mirror. I'd chosen a simple dress, navy blue, professional. I wanted to look put together, credible, not emotional or unhinged. I loaded the evidence boards into my car. The printed financial summaries. My 3-inch binder as backup. The drive to Oakmont Country Club took 40 minutes. My hands were steady on the wheel. My heart was calm. I wasn't scared. I was certain. I arrived at 1:30 p.m. The parking lot was already half full. I recognized cars. My parents' Lexus. My aunt's SUV. Family friends I hadn't seen in years. Marcus met me at the entrance. Ready? Ready. We carried the evidence boards in through a side door. The event coordinator looked confused but didn't stop us. I set everything up in a back corner, hidden behind a decorative screen. The ballroom was beautiful. Crystal chandeliers, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the golf course, round tables with white linens and floral centerpieces. A small stage at the front with a microphone. I'd asked the coordinator earlier if I could say a few words during the toasts. She'd said yes. Guests started arriving. I stood near the back, watching. My grandmother entered first, smiling, greeting everyone. She looked so happy. Then my parents arrived. My mother in a designer dress, my father in a suit, Lily beside them, laughing at something my mother said. They looked like the perfect family. My mother spotted me across the room. Her face lit up. She waved. I waved back. She had no idea. By 2 p.m., the ballroom was full. I counted quickly. 187 people. Aunts, uncles, cousins, family, friends, neighbors, my grandmother's book club, my father's co-workers. Everyone who mattered was here. Dr. Chen sat at a table near the front. She caught my eye. Nodded. Marcus positioned himself near the stage, camera ready. At 2:45 p.m., the toasts began. My uncle spoke first. Then my aunt. Then my grandmother thanked everyone for coming. I stood up, walked toward the microphone. My mother smiled at me from her table, proud, unsuspecting. I reached the stage, tapped the microphone. The room went quiet. I'd like to say a few words, I said. My parents were still smiling. Not for long. I stand at the microphone. At N. 187 people stare at me. The ballroom is silent, except for the soft clink of champagne glasses being set down. My mother sits at table 4, front and center. She's beaming. My father beside her, relaxed. Lily on his other side, scrolling through her phone. They have no idea. I want to talk about family, I say. My voice is steady, clear, about what it means to support the people you love. Heads nod. A few people smile. They think this is going to be a sweet speech about my grandmother. It's not. 4 years ago, I was accepted to Yale University, full academic scholarship. It was the proudest moment of my life. My mother's smile widens. She glances at the woman next to her, as if to say, "That's my daughter." I worked 3 jobs to afford living expenses. I took out $89,000 in student loans to cover what the scholarship didn't. I spent 4 years eating dollar meals and wearing thrifted clothes. The room is still quiet, but the energy is shifting. Confused. And on May 19th of this year, I graduated, magna cum laude, molecular biology, from Yale. A few people clap. My mother claps the loudest. I don't smile. My parents didn't come. The clapping stops. My mother's face freezes. They didn't come to my graduation, I repeat. They were 42 minutes away. But they chose to attend my sister's dance recital instead. Gasps ripple through the room. My grandmother's hand flies to her mouth. My mother half stands. "Sienna, this isn't the time." "Sit down, Mom." She sits. Marcus signals from the side. Camera rolling. I pull out the first photo board. Hold it up. This is row C, seats 7 and 8 at Woolsey Hall, Yale's graduation ceremony. These are the seats I saved for my parents. The image is blown up, crystal clear. 2 empty chairs. Sunlight streaming through stained glass. Programs sitting untouched. And this, I flip the board, is where they were. The second image shows my parents at Lily's recital. Front row. Smiling. My mother holding a bouquet of roses. The room erupts in whispers. "Sienna, you're twisting this." My father starts. I have receipts. I pull out the financial summary. Start reading. May 18th. The Marriott downtown. $1,890. May 19th. Bella Flora Designs. $380. May 19th. Ruth's Steakhouse. $645. May 19th. Prestige Event Videography. $2,400. May 19th. Étoile Costume Boutique. $2,932. I look up. Total spent on Lily's recital weekend, $8,247. Someone gasps. My Aunt Jennifer stands up, staring at my parents. "And how much did they spend on my graduation gift?" I ask. Silence. $0. My mother's face is white. "We've always supported both of you equally." "No, you haven't." I pull out the second financial summary, hold it high. "Over the past 4 years, you spent $127,000 on Lily's dance. Academy tuition, private coaching, costumes, competitions, travel." I let that number hang in the air. "You gave me $600 total. Birthday and Christmas money combined." My Uncle Robert stands. "Marcus, is this true?" My father's jaw tightens. "This is a private family matter." "It stopped being private when you lied on Facebook." I pull up my phone. Project the image onto the screen behind me using the venue's display system. My mother's post. "So proud of our girls, both achieving their dreams this weekend." 53 photos, all of Lily. "Both girls," I say. "But you only showed up for one." My grandmother is crying now. Dr. Chen moves closer to the stage. My mother stands, tears streaming. "You don't understand. Lily needed us." "And I didn't?" My voice cracks. "Just once." I steady it. I walked across that stage at Yale alone. I accepted my diploma with no one cheering for me. I stood in that parking lot afterward and heard your best friend, Carol, on the phone bragging about how proud you were. I looked directly at my mother. Proud of Lily, at her recital, at the expensive steakhouse, recording every second. Carol, sitting 3 tables back, goes pale. For 4 years, I was invisible. You attended 178 of Lily's dance performances. You visited my campus 0 times. You sent 2,047 text messages about Lily. You sent 253 about me. I hold up the binder. I have every receipt, every bank statement, every text message, every Facebook post, every witness statement. I have 4 years of documented proof that you chose her over me. Every single time. The room is dead silent. My father stands. His face is red. You're being dramatic. I have a lawyer who says otherwise. This is financial exploitation and emotional neglect. It's documented. It's provable. And now, everyone knows. I step back from the microphone. Look at the crowd. I didn't come here to ruin Grandma's birthday. I came here so you'd all know the truth. So the next time my parents pretend they supported both their daughters equally, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember the empty chairs, the $127,000, the 178 performances versus 0. I look at my mother one last time. You didn't forget my graduation, Mom. You chose not to come. And I'll never forgive you for that. I step off the stage. The room explodes. People surround my parents' table, voices raised. My Uncle Robert is shouting at my father. My Aunt Jennifer is demanding answers. My grandmother walks past my mother without looking at her and wraps me in her arms. I didn't know, she whispers. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I didn't know. Dr. Chen appears at my side. You did it. My mother is sobbing. My father is trying to explain, but no one's listening. Lily has disappeared. Probably to the bathroom. Someone's phone is out. Recording. The video will be everywhere by tonight. Marcus gives me a thumbs up from across the room. Got everything. I turn. Walk toward the exit. Behind me, I hear my mother's voice. Desperate. She's exaggerating. She's always been so sensitive. My Uncle Robert's voice cuts through. Diane, I just heard the numbers. $127,000? You told us you couldn't afford to help her. I don't stay to hear her response. I walk out of the ballroom, into the sunlight, and for the first time in 4 years, I feel free. That night, my phone exploded. 47 text messages by midnight. 12 missed calls. The family group chat, the one I'd been silent in for months, had 300+ unread messages. I didn't read most of them, but I read the ones that mattered. My grandmother, I believe you. I'm so sorry. Come stay with me if you need to. Uncle Robert, your father and I are done. Business and personal. You were right to speak up. Aunt Jennifer, I've been trying to reach your mother. She won't answer. Karen and I are on your side. Dr. Chen, you were incredible today. Call me tomorrow. Marcus. Videos saved. Backed up 3 times. You're safe. My parents tried calling 19 times. I blocked both numbers. Lily sent 1 text. I didn't know it was this bad. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. By morning, someone had posted a video clip. Not Marcus, someone else at the party. 30 seconds of me holding up the financial summary, my voice clear. $127,000 on Lily. $600 on me. It had 47,000 views by sunrise. I turned my phone off, slept for 14 hours. When I woke up, Rebecca had left a voicemail. Call me. We need to talk about next steps. I called her back. Let's file, I said. Rebecca filed the lawsuit 6 days after the party. Sienna Hayes v. Marcus and Diane Hayes. Claim: breach of parental duty, financial discrimination between children, emotional neglect. Damages sought: $89,000 in student loan reimbursement, plus court costs. The legal paperwork was 37 pages long. Every piece of evidence I'd compiled was attached. Bank statements, text messages, witness testimonies, the photo of the empty chairs. My parents had 10 days to respond. They hired an attorney, Gerald Pemberton. Expensive, the kind of lawyer who defends people who think money can erase mistakes. Their response came on day 9. Denial of all claims. Counter-argument. Parents have no legal obligation to fund adult children's education. Differences in financial support do not constitute abuse. Rebecca read it to me over the phone. They're arguing that favoritism isn't illegal, she said. Is it? Favoritism alone? No. But systematic financial discrimination while you were still a dependent, combined with documented emotional neglect, creates a breach of duty. We have precedent. What happens now? Mediation first. Court date if that fails. Mediation was scheduled for 6 weeks later. September 23rd. A conference room in downtown New Haven. Neutral mediator. Both sides present evidence. Attempt settlement. I walked in at 9 a.m. with Rebecca. My parents were already there. I hadn't seen them since the party. My mother looked smaller somehow. Tired. My father's jaw was tight, his eyes hard. We sat on opposite sides of the table. Didn't speak. The mediator, a woman named Linda Corso, opened the session. We're here to find resolution. Let's start with the plaintiffs. Miss Hayes, would you like to present your case? Rebecca slid the evidence binder across the table. The documentation is clear. Over 4 years, Mr. and Mrs. Hayes spent $127,000 on their younger daughter's extracurricular activities while providing only $600 to their older daughter, who was attending Yale University. They missed significant life events, including her college graduation, while attending every event for the younger daughter. This created measurable financial and emotional harm. My parents' attorney jumped in. My client supported both daughters as they saw fit. There's no legal requirement for equal financial distribution between adult children. Sienna was 18 when she started college, Rebecca interrupted. Still legally dependent. And the pattern of neglect began in childhood, as documented by witness testimonies from neighbors, teachers, and family friends. The mediator held up a hand. Mrs. Hayes, would you like to respond? My mother looked at me for the first time. Her eyes were red. We always loved both our girls equally, she said, her voice cracked. Lily needed more support because dance is expensive and competitive. Sienna was always so independent. We thought she was fine. You thought I was fine? The words came out before I could stop them. My mother flinched. You skipped my graduation. You were 42 minutes away. Lily's recital was important. And Yale wasn't? Silence. My father leaned forward. You're doing this for money. You want us to pay for choices you made. I'm doing this, I said, voice steady. So you'll finally admit what you did. The mediation lasted 4 hours. My parents refused to settle, refused to acknowledge wrongdoing, offered $15,000 as a goodwill gesture to move forward. Rebecca and I walked out. We're going to court, she said. The trial was set for 3 months later, December 14th. Over those 3 months, my parents tried everything. My mother sent letters. My father had Uncle Robert try to convince me to drop it. Lily called twice, begging me to reconsider. I didn't. On December 14th, I sat in a courtroom in New Haven Superior Court, Judge Alice Brennan presiding. The trial lasted 2 days. Rebecca presented our case methodically. Financial records, communication logs, witness testimonies. Dr. Chen took the stand and described watching me walk across that stage alone. My grandmother testified, crying, that she'd had no idea how badly I'd been treated. My parents' attorney argued precedent, parental discretion, no legal duty. But then Rebecca played the ace. She entered Connecticut State Code into evidence, a statute about parental duty to provide for minor children's necessary support and education. Sienna was 18, legally still a dependent when this pattern began, Rebecca argued, and the court has discretion to award damages when financial favoritism creates demonstrable harm. Judge Brennan took 2 days to deliberate. On December 16th, she delivered her ruling. The court finds that while parents generally have discretion in financial matters, the extreme disparity, in this case, $127,000 versus $600 over 4 years, combined with documented emotional neglect, constitutes a breach of parental duty. The court orders Marcus and Diane Hayes to reimburse Sienna Hayes for her student loan debt in the amount of $89,000, plus $12,000 in court costs, to be paid over 40 months at $2,500 per month. I sat very still. We'd won. My mother put her head in her hands. My father's face turned to stone. Outside the courthouse, Rebecca hugged me. You did it. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt tired, relieved, free. That night, my grandmother called. I'm rewriting my will, she said. You're the primary beneficiary now, and your parents won't be invited to Christmas. I started crying. Thank you, Grandma. You deserved better, Sienna. I'm just sorry I didn't see it sooner. The family split down the middle after the trial. On my side, Grandmother Ruth, Uncle Robert, Aunt Jennifer, Cousin David, Aunt Karen. 5 core supporters who'd been at every court date. On my parents' side, my father's parents, who refused to believe he'd done anything wrong. 2 family friends who thought I was being vindictive. In the middle, Lily. She'd apologized, said she was working through guilt in therapy, but she wouldn't cut off our parents. I told her I understood. But we'd never be close again. By the new year, my parents were isolated. Uncle Robert had ended their business partnership. My grandmother had disinvited them from all family events. The country club membership quietly lapsed, someone had complained. My mother's book club stopped calling. My father's firm started distancing. They'd lost more than the lawsuit. They'd lost their reputation. It's been 3 years since that birthday party speech. I'm 25 now, sitting in my apartment in Boston, 1 bedroom, exposed brick, big windows that let in morning light. I moved here 8 months after the trial for a research position at MIT Media Lab. The student loans are almost gone. My parents' court-ordered payments have been consistent. $2,500 every month for the past 3 years. 18 months left. The balance sits at $23,000 now, down from $89,000. My credit score is 782. I rebuilt it from 590. I have an emergency fund, $15,000. I have savings. I have stability. The job at MIT turned into something bigger. I'm a senior research associate now. I make $78,000 a year. I've published 3 papers in academic journals. Last month, I spoke at the Yale Alumni Conference about overcoming family obstacles. 200 people attended. I didn't mention my parents by name. I didn't have to. The people who knew. My relationships are different now, too. My grandmother and I talk every week, video calls on Sunday mornings. She tells me about her garden, her book club, her new hobby of watercolor painting. She asks about my work, my life, my happiness. Last month, she told me she's leaving me her house in her will. You're the one who deserves it, she said. Uncle Robert became a mentor. He helps me with financial planning, investment advice, career strategy. We meet for dinner once a month. He tells me he's proud of me. I believe him. I have friends now, real ones. People who showed up when things were hard and stayed after. Marcus, who filmed that speech. Dr. Chen, who still checks in. New friends from work, who don't know the full story but love me anyway. I'm dating someone, Alex. We met at a conference 14 months ago. They're kind, patient. They know about my family. I told them on our 4th date and they didn't run. You survived that, Alex said. You're stronger than you think. Therapy helped too. I've been going weekly for 2 years, monthly now. I've learned words for what happened. Emotional neglect. Scapegoat versus golden child. Trauma responses. Boundaries. I still have hard days. Days when I see a father hugging his daughter at the coffee shop and feel that old ache. Days when I wonder what it would have been like to have parents who chose me. But most days, I'm okay. Better than okay. I haven't spoken to my parents in 3 years. Not since the trial. They tried reaching out 6 months ago. My mother sent a letter. I didn't open it. Returned it unopened. Lily and I text maybe every few months. Surface level stuff. She quit competitive dance. She's at community college now, studying psychology. She's working through her own guilt, she says. I hope she finds peace, but we'll never be close. Too much damage. Last month, I drove back to New Haven, parked outside Woolsey Hall, walked inside during visiting hours. I sat in row C, seats 7 and 8. The seats my parents were supposed to fill 3 years ago. This time, I wasn't alone. My grandmother sat beside me, Uncle Robert on my other side. We're here now, my grandmother said. I'm sorry we weren't there then. I took their hands. We sat there for 20 minutes. I thought about that day. The empty chairs. The hollow feeling in my chest. The moment I realized I'd walked across that stage for myself, not for them. And I realized something. I don't need my parents' validation anymore. I never did. I graduated from Yale. I survived 4 years on my own. I built a life that's mine. I found family in the people who chose me back. That's the real degree. Not the diploma on my wall, not the lawsuit I won, but the knowledge that I'm worth more than they could ever see. I still have the photo, the one Jim took, the empty chairs with sunlight streaming through stained glass. I keep it on my desk, not as a reminder of pain, but as proof. Proof that I showed up for myself when no one else did. Proof that their absence didn't define me. Proof that I survived. 3 years later, I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm thriving. And they can't take that away. If you're listening to this and you see yourself in my story, if you've been the invisible child, the afterthought, the one who achieved alone, I want you to know something. You're not being dramatic. You're not too sensitive. Your pain is real. Your anger is justified. And you deserve people who show up for you. Not people who make excuses. Not people who promise to do better and never change. But people who see your worth and choose you. Consistently. Without conditions. Family isn't just blood. Family is the people who stand in your corner when it matters most. I found mine. You can find yours too. Thank you for listening to my story. If it helped even one person feel less alone, it was worth sharing. This is Achiever Betrayed, where we don't just survive betrayal, we rise above it.